Welcome to Daily Dose Radio, a 5-minute devotional podcast studying the Psalms verse by verse. Broadcast from the ever-beautiful Sharonville, Ohio, on the sunny side of Cincinnati. Hey, welcome back to Daily Dose Radio. Yes, we're traveling the pages of Interstellar Bible Study. Whoa, say that 5 times fast. Interstellar Bible Study. And we're doing it 5 minutes a day, 5 days a week, only on Daily Dose Radio in the Psalms, verse by verse. Today we're looking at Psalm 136, and we're going to be reading verses 10 and 11. And we start a new section today, and I've been kind of teasing this all along. We began with the great wonders statement, and we talked about the great wonders in creation, but of course, God continues to do great wonders, and He does it here in verses 10 through 13. At least that's what we're going to try to finish this week. In verse 10, we have another statement, who smote the Egyptians. So we had that word, that verb to smite, back in 135. That was our word back in verse 10, actually, of 135. He smote great nations. He slew mighty kings. And then also we had it back in verse 8. He smote the firstborn of Egypt from man to beast. So that verb in 135 comes to us as a remembrance. We remember that that's an important word because that's what God did. His great wonder in deliverance was smiting the Egyptians. And the thing that's remembered, notice this, the thing that's remembered is not the first plague. It's not the first sign. It's not the second sign. It's not even my favorite one, the frog sign. No, the very first thing that's remembered is the last sign, the smiting of the firstborn, because it was that sign which motivated Pharaoh and all the Egyptians to, as the Lord told Moses, they're going to thrust you out. And that's exactly what happened. Pharaoh called him in and said, "Get out of here. I don't want you guys around at all. Please leave." And so they left in a hurry. Well, that's it. That's what we remember here. He smote the firstborn. That was a great wonder and, ladies and gentlemen, an everlasting mercy. You know, whenever God delivers us, it's always an everlasting mercy. And He does this wonderful deliverance. And He does it for us today in Christ Jesus because He was smitten for our transgressions. He was bruised for our iniquities. The chastisement of our peace was upon Him. So Jesus bore the brunt of God's smiting for us so that we could be delivered. The Egyptians bore the smiting action of God, His judgment against Pharaoh and all those men, so that the children of Israel could be delivered. And it is a great mercy. It's a great mercy for those of us who have been delivered by that work of God. And so we have it here reminding us of that deliverance. He smote the firstborn, and He did it because, as the Lord told Moses, you're going to tell your sons and your daughters one day of all the signs that I have done, and you will do that so that they will know that I am the Lord. That's exactly why. So that we can have deliverance, freedom from our sin, and worship God in full knowledge of who He is. He is the Lord of all things. That second verse there, 11, says, and He brought out Israel from their midst. He sure did. And like I said, the Egyptians thrust them out. They went out in a hurry. They had their bread on their kneading boards, and it was on their heads strapped to their shoulders. They went out. They didn't even have time to put leaven in the bread so it could rise up and be a nice loaf. They had to hurry. And Pharaoh thrust them out, and they went out by the way of the sea, towards the Red Sea. And we're going to read about that, actually, next time the Red Sea is mentioned and how God's mercy even extended toward the children of Israel as they proceeded on their march. So we're not done yet with the deliverance. So join me tomorrow as we look at verses 12 and 13 on Daily Dose Radio. Thanks for listening to Daily Dose Radio. I'm David Smith. The music today has been performed by the Bluegrass Experiment. Thanks again for listening. I'll see you next time on Daily Dose Radio.